So most of the movies in this chapter were about editing the graphics of the display on screen. This one is related in the sense that we're going to still be modifying the way we're seeing our model, but it doesn't really have anything to do with editing graphics. What we're going to do instead is actually customize a view entirely. So I'm looking at my stair here, and maybe I want to have a better understanding of how my stair is coming together, and it might be nice to have a 3D view of this. Now, I could certainly use some of the techniques we've covered in this chapter so far, and I could do a 3D view, and then I could come in here and start hiding elements that are in my way. Peel off the roof and maybe hide some doors. And I could do this with temporary hide, like you see here on screen, or I could do it with permanent hide and what have you. It gets a little tedious, and we might still not even get exactly the view we want. It turns out that there's actually a much easier way to get in and look at exactly what we want. I'm going to duplicate the 3D view. I'm going to rename that 3D stair, and click OK. Now, of course, it doesn't look much like 3D stair. Now, let me go ahead and reset this temporary hide isolate. Just start with a clean view this way. Now, I have already on my project browser a view called section at stair. If you want to do this technique in your own projects, you really want to make sure that you have two things. You have a 3D view, and you also have a floor plan, an elevation, or a section that you want to match to that 3D view. Because if you come over here to the view cube in the 3D view and you right click, we have an orient to view option, and you can orient this view to match any of your other views in your project. So I could do a 3D floor plan, or I could do a 3D of one of my elevations, or in this case, I'm going to do a 3D of the section at stair. It will spin the view around, crop it down, make it match. Let's go ahead and do a ZF to zoom to fit and get in a little closer. And then I'll hold my shift key down and drag my wheel. And just like that, we're able to spin around and take a look. And you can see that this is much nicer than hiding a bunch of objects. We can get in there and take a good look at our stair and see that everything's shaping up the way we want. So make sure you name them carefully, but nice little trick that you should have in your arsenal.